Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this video we're doing part 4 of our 2017 Q&A series. So if you guys are new to this, I go through your questions in order from when I receive them, and I just answer as many as I can in a reasonable amount of time, and then that's a video, and then I keep going. And so if yours was one of the earlier questions, it will get answered sooner rather than later. And if you have a new question, post it in the original video. There's a link up there. Click that link. That's where you can post your question. Don't post it in this video's comment section. This comment section is only for discussing those questions which I'm going to answer now. So we're just going to move on. I'll read the question and then I'll read the answer. This is from Benjamin James Orchard, and this is a good question. If you had to live the rest of your life with feet for hands or hands for feet, what would you choose? Easily hands for feet. Gorillas use it all the time. Their feet are basically a second set of hands. Having feet for hands, not good for anything. Could you imagine having to have feet for hands? Every time you picked your nose, it would stink. That'd be terrible. Ghost Tab. Long-time viewer, by the way, Ghost Tab. I appreciate the support. Thanks for sticking around. Why are movies based on games so bad? Generally, just because they try to cash in. They don't care about quality. They care about making money, and they know an IP that's well known is going to make money, so that's all they worry about. Stillfede, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Do you think the availability of home 3D printers will have any effect on the figure industry? Would you want to print your own parts? Alternatively, who, in your opinion, is the best girl in Overwatch? Okay, a couple of questions there. No, I don't think the printers will affect customizing at all, or the action figure industry really that much. Only because you need a lot more than just a cheap printer. Cheap printers suck, by the way. You can't make good quality parts. They always look fuzzy and have lines in them. Also, you need the software, which is incredibly expensive. So. And it takes a lot to learn how to do. So it's not going to happen for normal people by any means. And then even people like me who customize, it's still not easy to do. For instance, I'm able to get 3D heads printed, but they need to be done on a very expensive machine. That's never going to happen for most customizers even, because it's expensive and you have to find somebody who can do it. And again, you have to have the software. I happen to have that software because I'm going to be parlaying this whole thing into something, hopefully in the future. And I plan to be selling some heads and things that I get printed because I'm already customizing. But it's definitely not going to be a regular thing in the near future. Maybe down the road once the tech becomes super cheap, but even then the software won't. So I don't see it affecting really most people at all unless you want to pay me to make something using those things that I have. That's really the only option. And then best girl in Overwatch, I'm going to go with Tracer, because Tracer's my main. Doug MGM, couple of questions. What lines of Transformers do you collect? Well, I've got every Beast Wars figure that appeared on the show, none of the secondary ones, and the American show, not like the cartoon or the anime. Beast Wars, love Beast Wars. I pick and choose my masterpiece figures. You guys have seen the Beast Wars ones, and I've reviewed all of the ones that I own, actually, so check out my Transformers playlist. I collected almost every figure from the first couple of movies, current movies, because I liked them. And just other odds and ends. I had most of the animated figures. I only have a few of those left. Just whatever I happen to like. That's what I collect. Do you just play on Xbox? Primarily, yes. I do have a couple of things on PC, but I almost never play them, so just Xbox. And then he asked about my favorite movies, which I answered in a video or two ago, so check that video. Okay, Bryant Smith says a lot of saying thanks for your reviews and that kind of stuff. I appreciate that. Just not going to read it all for time constraints. His question is, do I think imports generally have more or less quality control issues, or more or fewer quality control issues than domestics? Generally, they have fewer, but that's also only because I think they're at a higher price point, so they can't afford to have more quality control issues. Otherwise, people would stop buying the lines altogether, save for PlayArt Sky, because theirs are riddled with QC problems, which people stop buying, so I guess that just proves my point. Gag Nation wants to know my most anticipated game and movie this year. No game. Don't care about any of the games coming out this year, not especially anyway. And movie, I'm gonna go with Thor Ragnarok. That should be fantastic. Seth Woodcroft asks, if I had to invest in only one SH Figure Arts line, what would it be? That's easy. Dragon Ball. By far. Most fun line they make, as far as I'm concerned. A lot of people like Kamen Rider, though, so if you like Kamen Rider more than Dragon Ball, go with that. Aura Boy wants to know if I'm going to do another Smash Brothers collection update eventually. All my stuff is in Texas right now, and I am still in Ohio, so I cannot do it. JJ Olantanji wants to know if I can do a collection video. Yes, eventually. Again, all my stuff is in Texas, and I'm in Ohio. The RPG Knight. Who would you pick to be the next Wolverine after Hugh Jackman? I like, if they're not going to go with somebody that's not that well known, which they could do and it'd be fine, but I like the guy that played Bane. I can't think of his name. Tom, guy that played Bane. I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, I like him. I think he could do it. And then, would you rather have one waifu or a harem of waifus? That's a weird question. Just one's fine, thanks. King Haha. What is your favorite movie, and have you collected figures from that movie? Well, I mentioned a little bit ago that my favorite movie is The Matrix, and have I collected figures? Yes, but they're pretty lousy, and I wish they would make good ones, but nobody made any good ones. Afiet Aprianto, do you display your collection, or are they mostly just going back in the box after you review them? Well, currently, there's nothing on display, as I mentioned, because of the move. Everything's in bins, bagged and binned. And so I'm not going to be displaying anything until I'm in my final residence where I can build up a proper display room. So it's going to happen eventually, just not right now. Eventually, though. It's Me Boom asks, how many figures do you have in total? I don't know exactly. I'd have to check my spreadsheets, but I want to say... Actually, I can't remember now. It's been a while since I've checked. I want to say it's around 2,000, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look. It could be 25, or it could be 1,500. I'm not sure. I'll have to look, but it's somewhere between 1,500 and 2,500, I think, which is a big range because I don't remember. What is your... from Screamin' Llamas. What's your favorite character to make customs of? I don't really have one. In fact, I made a lot of Deadpools, but not because he's my favorite, just because that's what people like to commission. I like to make things that allow me to be creative and things that are kind of unique, so I don't have a particular character. Sorry. Zane Rodriguez has 2 questions. Did you enjoy high school? Yes. Did you play sports in high school or do any other extracurricular activities? Yes. I played soccer primarily, but I also played basketball. I think I mentioned this kind of stuff briefly in one of the other videos, so check back for that for more information. But I did play a variety of sports, and I worked, so that did cut down on other stuff. And I did like work on my car and stuff like that, like fun stuff, not like maintenance stuff. So that's an extracurricular, even though it's not related to school. Cromerlino Limo asks, do I have a dream line of figures, and who would I want to make them? I don't know if I do. I would really like to get some good Matrix figures, as I just mentioned. Who do I want to make them? That's a good question. I'm leaning toward NECA just because I think the style would match up, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I think NECA and Matrix figures. Let's just go with that. Stephen Holguin asks, or says he's watched a lot of my videos and asks what in my eyes would make the perfect action figure. You can't make a perfect anything when you're dealing with a budget, so it's really impossible. What I'm looking for in a figure is that they put the effort into making the figure as good as it can be while accepting a reasonable profit. I don't like it when figures are made lousy or made lazily in favor of having a larger profit. So that's generally what's kind of guiding everything I talk about in a review. I don't mind reused parts. I don't mind limited articulation. I don't mind all of these things if they are applied in the right way. Now, sometimes we see all of these things and a price point that doesn't reflect the quality, and that's where the problems fall. So you can't have a perfect figure. You have to try to get the best you can get or make at a given price point. That's all. Easy. Let's do one more question for this video. Nidra D, who is a fairly regular viewer, not for the longest amount of time if I remember correctly, but fairly recently seems to be a regular viewer. What are your wishes for 2017? That's a good question, and I have 2. 1, I don't know how many I have. There's one, though, that I'm going to talk about, and that is I'm hopefully going to get the wheels in motion more than they already are for my own line of action figures. That's all I'm going to say at this point, but I guess I can tell you, it wouldn't be licensed stuff. It would be original characters. Along the lines of the Four Horsemen type of thing where they create their own characters in fiction and then make figures based on that. That's very basically what my goal is to at least get started this year. We'll see if it works, but that's what we're going to do. So that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for all the questions. I have a ton more to do, so make sure you stick around. If your question hasn't been answered yet, it will. If it's on the list and it's a good question, I will answer it. So don't fret. If you have new questions, post them up there at that video, in that video's comment section. That's fine. If you want to talk about what I talked about in this video, do it in the comment section here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.